A Cardiff student has been telling of his journey to the Andes, where he filmed and photographed people living and working near a live volcano. 19-year-old Connor Weston goes to the University of South Wales and is an aspiring nature photographer and filmmaker. He headed to the Amazon and Andes last month, and earlier I asked him about his extraordinary trip.
Because we spent a week and a half out in the Amazon, which was every day hiking, every day more or less doing something. It was nice to return from all the hectic, fast-paced lifestyle and to just sit back and relax. And you don't really want to do that in a city because it's still busy, but what you really want is to be out in the open, in the middle of nowhere, for it to be remote and to just relax. So there's quite a different environment actually, and the Andes attracted us because it's a complete opposite from the rainforest in the same country as well. So you have the Amazon, which is, you have trees everywhere. You're not that far away from any insect at all. So you go to the Andes, which is mountains and volcanoes and nothing, and no light pollution either as well. And you can just sit back and watch the stars. And I think that's what we really went for, is to just relax and get ready to go back home.
So very remote, very stark, live volcanoes, but people living in amongst those volcanoes and taking it day to day.
Yeah, there was one volcano. So we had Cotopaxi, which is what we were staying in front of at Chiquibamba Lodge, and then there was another volcano near Quito, but it was in the Andes. And what we had to do was we had to drive up to the top to get the view of inside the volcano. It's still an active volcano. And what we did was we looked inside and all of it was farmland. So people were actually growing their crops in a live volcano that could go at any minute. What they had to do is they had to climb up these stairs, the pathway up the volcano with their crops and veg. They transport it, and that, because the soil is so fertile, that's the perfect place for them to be. But again, it could go off any time. It's not extinct volcano.
Obviously, being in that environment, what's the most abiding memory you have of being out in the Andes?
Being able to sit out in front of the stars with such a clear night, because you get clear nights here in Brecons or whatnot, but it's not as clear as out there. I mean, you're in the center of the equator at the same time, so you've got all of the view instead of half of the view here you got in Wales. From sleeping out into the Amazon, where you have noise every night and there's something there all the time, to just being in a place where there's nothing around you. It's quite tranquil at the same time. So that's my best memory of the Andes, yeah.
And the people themselves, did you interact with much with the locals, come across the people much?
Yeah, the locals are actually quite different actually, because if in my opinion, I don't know if this is true, but it's more Peruvian than it is Ecuadorian. The people dress differently. From the Amazon people would normally wear t-shirts, something you're not going to sweat in, but with the Andes, people are dressed in ponchos because it's cold out there. You're 3,000 meters above sea level to start with, so it's cold instead of humid. So the people obviously look different as well. They're not natives. They look as if they could live in a city as well, but they're incredibly social for people who live on their own. So you would essentially be living on your own out there. It's so vast.
Tomorrow night here on Hello Cardiff, I'll be talking to Connor about his trip to the Amazon and the effects that oil drilling and pollution are having on the local population there.